Welcome to another episode of Maintenance Untangled, where we untangle the complexities of maintenance.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us for a special Christmas edition of our Maintenance Untangled podcast. And as always, welcome, Ricky. Welcome back to the show.
Derick, it's awesome. Finally in person. How crazy is this?
Exactly. Specifically for Christmas.
I know, right? I even wore a nice Christmas shirt. How good's that?
So for everyone that can't read there, it says, for the listeners, that wasn't very data-driven of you. That's what his shirt says.
Can't even get it right. Anyway. Wouldn't expect less, would you?
Exactly. So Ricky, what are we talking about today?
So, Derick, rather than untangling maintenance, I think it's always good this time of year to just sort of stop, reflect on, some of the highlights of the year, what are potentially some of the key learnings that we've had. And I think also, what are we excited for next year?
100%.
So,
sounds like a good idea. So Ricky, your highlights of the year.
Well, I suppose the biggest highlight for me is obviously taking the big leap of faith and stepping out on my own as a business.
Yeah.
I've had really good support throughout this year, obviously with yourself, with the sort of, great partnership that we've sort of been working on. But I've also had obviously continued support from, my previous full-time business, which has been absolutely amazing to, know that a lot of people still have that faith in me. And it's been, really cool to sort of continue that and obviously, share it with my family, and it's been awesome.
So once again, congratulations. It's
Thank you.
Not an easy step, but well done.
Thanks. I'm still shooting myself. Can't lie.
All right. So personally, anything your highlight of the year?
I think the highlight for the year on a very personal level is spending more time with my family. And we've done that basically by jumping in a caravan and, selling up our home and, traveling Australia and going out to all those amazing places and being able to share that with the family.
Yeah.
Places like Bathurst, which is spiritual home of motorsport. You wouldn't expect less from me from going to there. Spent a couple of months in Toowoomba and sort of seeing what that area was like. But also to go all the way up and have a look at Mackay, Airlie Beach, and really look at those kind of areas. And you forget how much of a big country Australia is. And, South Australia feels so small after, being in Queensland, just the distances you've got to travel between there. So definitely spending more time with my family on a very much personal level has been awesome to do that.
Awesome.
How about yourself, Derick? What was some of the highlights for yourself this year?
So my year sort of reached the pinnacle last week, where we actually bought a farm. It's been a lifelong dream of me and my wife, and we finally managed to do it. And so we moved in, not yet settled in, but we moved in.
That's the first step, isn't it?
It's now unpacking and all that. And yeah, so it's been a lifelong dream of us, and it's a completely off-grid house, and it's the way we like to live. And my business motto, maintaining the balance, is also something personally that I take personal. And yeah, it's for us, it's about just getting back a little bit back to nature and enjoying quiet and peace. We all live very, very, very busy lives, and I do enjoy just going back to nature where it's quiet and I can share it with my sons and my wife, and yeah, it's awesome. I have to admit, so there was another highlight which I shared on LinkedIn as well. My oldest son just finished school, and instead of choosing to go to schoolies, he reckoned me, Dad, I want to go camping with you or go fishing with you. So we took 3 days and went fishing, which was awesome. And I appreciate the time I have with my son, and he's on his way out or out of the house possibly. And yeah, I really appreciate that. That was a special moment for me as a dad, and seeing my son off and on his way out. So it was awesome.
Did you catch much?
He did. I fed them. He caught them.
That's always the case, isn't it?
Yeah. So, professionally, Ricky, highlight.
I think learning for me throughout this year, it's you kind of think of running your own business as sort of something that's really easy, really simple. Far out, there's a lot of work. But I've really enjoyed that learning process. You forget, when you're in sort of a full-time job, whereabouts there are people who do the marketing, there are people who look after the administration and all those little aspects of the business that you just don't think about when you just head down in your 9 to 5. So, I've absolutely enjoyed that process.
Awesome.
What about you, Derick, professionally?
So I think learning, I would add as well learning, but one of our highlights was we delivered 2 major projects recently to a client of ours, one of our key clients, and we delivered in a very, very tight time frame, and it was delivered successfully. So to us, it was a really great highlight. With that, obviously, came a lot of stress, and it was some days it was a bit more difficult than others, but it was still a highlight all up. And what I'm looking forward to in the coming year. So in February, Aston Optimization will be 10 years old.
Jeepers, that's gone quick.
So if you follow the statistics about business surviving 1 year, 5 years, etc., I can't remember the exact stat for that survives 10 years, but there's very few businesses that start and actually survive 10 years. So we look forward to our 10th year of existence, and to continue to growing our relationships with key partnerships like yourself, and that's sort of really what I'm looking forward to in this coming years, to continue partnering with key people that we trust and we enjoy working together, and just keep on growing and helping you to grow your business.
No, I appreciate it, and obviously your guidance throughout the journey as well this year as well has been astronomical, and obviously your partner, wife as well, is she's been instrumental in terms of helping us in the background as well. So
that's all good.
Thank you very much. But obviously 10 years, obviously we'll try and do a asset optimization 10-year anniversary in February as a podcast.
I'll get my wife on the podcast as well.
Hey.
She's not gonna like me.
That's all right. You might have more luck than me. Awesome.
All right. So what are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to next year about bringing business intelligence to more businesses, but also continuing on building obviously on our partnership, the existing clients that we're sort of working with, and just continue loving life. I'm loving what I'm doing, so I'm not going to stop in no time soon.
It makes life a lot easier if you enjoy what you're doing.
That's it.
So I think it might be worth just reflecting on some of the things that in the past year. So in terms of industry, there's 2 major incidents which caused fatalities in the recent since we started recording the podcast, and I think going into the Christmas season, it's important for people to to really just take the time and pause and reflect. And there's always people that has to work over Christmas and New Year, and it's a very difficult time because you'd rather be with family than obviously at work. And for those people, that's actually, that still has to keep operations running. Take the time and remember your family. And I think no job is more important than actually going home safely. So I think it's really important for people to remember that, and not lose sight of what's really important.
Couldn't agree more, Derick. I know this time of year everyone sort of gets a little bit flustered, so definitely make sure you go to work safe, do everything you need to at work safe, just to make sure you can go home. That's really important to do.
100%. So what are we looking forward to in the new year in terms of the podcast, Vicky?
Well, we're going to have some guests. I'm hanging to get the guests on. We'll go through. Hopefully we'll maybe be able to do some in person, but obviously we'll do those virtually where we can.
Yeah.
I know also as well we've got a nice little series that we've sort of been working on, Derick, to sort of get that out, to sort of raise awareness on potentially the offerings that we can also do. And so some of the key guests, which I won't name right now, but one of them is Doctor. She'll be joining us hopefully, and we'll be talking about alliance contracts, which is something in the maintenance world is not very well known. But I was involved with her where we successfully implemented an alliance contract, and it's real collaborative contract. Sorry, it's the right terminology. And it's really about when you as a maintenance organization really partner with your contractor and where it's
beneficial for both. So we'll get her on and we'll have a conversation with her about it. She's that's her life, and she's passionate about it. The other one is talking about contractor compliance in terms of, do they have, when people walk through the gate, do they have the right tickets? Do they have the right qualifications? Do they have the right inductions and all that? And yeah, there's a system currently in the market that basically ensures that. It's a global company, and we'll get the CEO online and we'll have a conversation with him.
That's it. There's also the other aspect as well. We've also got guests who's more focused on the people who are actually on the tools doing FIFO in and out, and he's got some really good advice about it, sort of help those people, set themselves up for the future, because you can end up in that trap whereabouts, you're doing FIFO work and you're earning really, really good coin, and sometimes you can sort of get trapped in that sort of space about spending it now or not setting yourself up for the future, or even culturally. Those kind of things. So looking forward to having that particular guest on as well.
Sounds good. So,
Derick, going into next year, new year resolution. What's one key goal that you are looking at, sort of trying to make sure that next year you can carry on and do? Or learning from this year?
Can I have more than one?
You can have more than one. You can have 30 if you want.
All right. So key goal obviously is we would like to establish a farm, and it's to get it to the point of actually being commercially viable. The second key goal that I have personally is to continue to grow our business, and it's not just growth as in, it's not about revenue. It's just all about growing our footprint and what we do in our service offering and how we can service our clients better, and it goes back to the conversation what I said previously around key alliances and growing those alliances so that we can always have a better offering for our clients. And I suppose the third one is just continue the podcast and see how this grows and how we can help people, and getting some feedback from our listeners and really giving us feedback on things they would really like to talk about and listen and hear more from. And if there's any specific topics, we're good, so we can address those.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely those people have commented, provided feedback, direct message. Thank you so much. That makes it all worth it in the end. Yep. So appreciate that support. For myself, there's two key things. Obviously, continue to explore Australia, and eventually the wife and I would like to settle down somewhere in particular. So being able to do that and pick the whereabouts exactly that is.
Yep.
But I think for me, one big key learning, and this is obviously overlooked by a lot of people, Derick, and we're talking about this earlier, is about making sure that when we go into a job, we've got documentation about what the scope of work looks like. They're not just document put together, but right through down to what does the end result actually look like for you.
Yep.
And by clearing that up to begin with, you're not going back there and doing multiple reworks or whatever. Everyone is clear on what these goals are. Mm-hmm. So for me personally, I'm going in next year and focusing on that to make everyone's life easier. It's not about making me not accountable or for client not accountable or anything along those lines. It's about what is the clear goal, because obviously, as they say, you've got to have the end in mind to know how to get there.
100%. All right, so we're going to take a break for this Christmas New Year period, and we'll be back online shortly in the new year. I can't remember the date, so for second Friday of the month, second Friday of January.
I think it works out to be the 9th if I use my maths. 8th or 9th.
Somewhere around there. And we'll be back online then, and we'll have a conversation, and looking forward to the new year.
In the meantime, Merry Christmas, everybody. Party hard for New Year's.
Enjoy the break. If you take a break with family, please travel safe, stay safe, and really enjoy the time with your family and enjoy the time with loved ones. And if you have the opportunity to travel, enjoy.
That's it. Thanks for everything so far this year with the podcast, and have a Merry Christmas, Derick. And
same to you. And enjoy the New Year's.
Will do. Who's doing the intro? Bleep it, tick.
All right. I'll go. Let me just think about this. All right.